Hi there, welcome to Headcase Games iPhone Development Video Log number 2, where I sit here and talk to you about everything that matters in the world. And it's all very important, so you better listen up. My name is Ron Alpert. I'm an iPhone developer with HeadcaseGames.com. We make games such as iFist and 180 for your iPhone and iPod Touch, and iPad, and iWindow, and iFirehydrant, and iCat Letterbox, and I can't believe this joke doesn't get old. Well, it just got old. Anyway, those games are available for your iPhone and iPod Touch, and so on and so forth, on the iTunes App Store right now. So go and check them out and pick them up. To start the show off, I'd just like to say, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the good response that we've been getting since starting this a week ago. I would like to change the name of the show, however. iPhone Development Video Log doesn't exactly flow off the tongue terribly cleanly, even though it does fairly well describe what it is that I'm trying to do. If anybody has some honestly decent suggestions, please feel free to forward them along. I was thinking that something like Game Show would be a good name, but someone else had to go and use that for their podcast. Darn it. So, if anyone else would like to contribute something, send it on along. I have a couple ideas going around in my head. We'll see what happens. If you don't come up with something, I'm sure I will. To start the show off, I guess I'll just get right in and talk about 180, our flagship title, which has been available since about 5 months now. I'm fairly happy with the response that we've got. The community's been very accepting of our game, very enthusiastic. We've got a lot of downloads to show for it, a lot of great critical response, which is awesome. I mean, as a developer, you can't really ask for much more than that. Well, you can always ask for. But yeah, it's been good. Anyone that's been paying attention to us has watched that we've done a lot of promotion between everything, all the outlets, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, all those things, forum posts, you name it, I've been there. I've been pushing it hard. Actually, at this point, I'm about to do a last big push for the game. And then that will be it, and I can move on with my life and concentrate on whatever's next. I'd sure like to know what that is as well. But, yeah, and at this point, I guess I would just like to ask those of you that are interested, those of you that enjoy our game and appreciate what we're trying to do, just, pay attention, watch out for when I do start this last promotion, and please help us out, as we're mentioning the game and pushing it hard, do us a favor and do the same, if you enjoy the game, tell your buddies to check it out too. Tell them to check out the free one, even if only just that. Retweet our tweets, repost our Facebook posts, anything that you can do helps us out immensely, because there's only so much that I can do. And all I want to do is make stuff that you enjoy. So keep that in mind. And in the meantime, as well, thank you for everyone that supported us this far. It's meant everything in the world, really, and it makes me just want to keep doing this. I guess at this point I will talk about what I've been playing on the iPhone specifically. I don't get too much time to game these days, but I was traveling a little bit in the past week, so I used the opportunity to download a couple of games that I've been keeping my eyes on. Anyway, so I guess first of all, I played this game called Ponk on the iPhone, which is actually a pretty nice game. It's got really nice production value, very pretty graphics. It's another Match 3, which there's, of course, several of on the iPhone at this point. And you can download it right now for free, so I'll just go ahead and say you should do that, because if you do like Match 3 games that look nice, then you'll at least enjoy checking this one out. It's not, well, there's no perfect game, I'll say that much. Well, there's a couple. This game is not the most perfect game either, but it's certainly worth checking out. It does have some issues. It's one of those that I picked it up and I wasn't sure how to play it, and even after playing it for a little while, I still wasn't sure if I was doing it right. But it's fairly approachable. I think anyone that's actually watching this podcast will probably enjoy at least giving it the runaround, so have a look-see. Otherwise, I picked up a game called Sigma, another Match 3 game, which I've been keeping my eye on for several months, and they just happened to put it up for free as well recently, so I just grabbed it. It's another interesting game. If any of you have played Unify, I'm sure you remember It's a matching game where you have pieces moving from left to right, and this is the same thing. So, well, you don't have pieces that are dropping, but you're rotating these giant cylinders full of blocks with your thumbs on the other side, and you shoot a block over from the left to the right in match 3. Again, another very nice looking game. It's getting a huge amount of hubbub actually in the scene of people talking about this game. A lot of people say it's their favorite match on the platform. Again, I can't say that it's my favorite game, and that's probably far from it. I've seen a lot simpler games that have done this a lot better, but it's got a nice little suite of things that you can do in there, and it's still free. Go check it out. What are you waiting for? Other than that, I guess this is the part of the podcast where I just say, I love Drop 7. This is all I play. And it's true. I play it a lot. I probably spent about 7 or 8 hours playing the game last week, not counting the flights that I was on. So I can't get enough of that game. If you haven't downloaded it at this point, you're just a bad person. I'm tired of giving them free publicity, so I'm not going to say too much more about it. But it's a good iPhone game. You should play it. Alright, moving on, I'd like to talk a little bit about indie game development and why I do it or why you should not do it. A lot of people ask me all the time about what I'm doing, why I'm doing this, how do I feel about it, do I recommend it, where do I think people should start? And these questions are easy and hard to answer at the same time. For me, I've been working in big studio development for several years, and I had a lot of thoughts about why are things done a certain way? I feel like I wish they were done a different way. Why are things? Why does business work the way that business does? And as just a guy making assets or art in general, then you don't appreciate things as opposed to when you actually become the businessman and you have to look at things with in a completely different spectrum rather. And yeah, so I've definitely learned a lot in the time that I've been doing it independent. It's been a great education for me. For those that are interested in following suit and taking the plunge, I'd say it depends a lot on your current situation and what you expect to get out of this. If you want to get in and you think you have a nifty idea and you're just waiting for the money to roll in, you're probably going to be severely disappointed from the outset. If you have a lot of time and a lot of energy and a decent amount of money to sit back on, then yeah, I'll go for it. Have a ball. As long as you just think about it, that at this point that it's a lot more accessible as a hobby than a money-making venture, then I think you'll have a lot better time. But if you're just hoping that you can just make something nifty and that it's going to resonate with the community and you're going to get millions of downloads, then you're going to be sadly mistaken. That's just odds anyway. There's plenty of people. There's a couple of people out there that could prove that theory wrong. But just based on what I've witnessed personally and what I've seen from everybody else that's been trying to do this stuff, indie is taking a lot of bizarre twists and turns. And it's essentially just the scene is completely flooded right now with all sorts of products, all sorts of people, all sorts of ideas about what this business should be like. And here's basically how it works. There's a very small pool of people that are making a lot of money doing this, and they're turning out apps of varying quality. There's a pretty large amount of people that are making middling amounts of money doing this, and some of them are working really hard to make very good, well-polished apps. Some of them are making some crap. And then there's a whole lot of people that are making absolutely no money doing this. Some of them are making stuff that looks fairly decent, and a lot of them are making stuff that's just garbage, and they don't have any idea what they're doing at all. So odds are that you're going to end up in the last two categories as opposed into the cherished first category. If you can get in and you can hang out for a while, you can take your licks, you can learn exactly why and how you should do certain things, you have a chance of getting something out of it. And what that something is, I'm not exactly sure what, but like me, you'll at least get an education. Hopefully you'll start getting your name out there, and you'll start getting a little bit of a fan base and, building up some IPs if you're lucky. And down the road, yeah, you could potentially make some money. But right now, if you're looking to get in and just get some quick fame and quick cash, then unless you already have that going in, then you're probably going to have a slap in the face a little bit. And I guess it's one thing to say that, and another, or one thing to hear that rather, and another to actually experience it. And I don't want to try to ever talk anyone out of anything, but indie development is certainly not for everybody. There's a lot of people that say that right now it's the best time to be an indie. In a lot of ways, it's true. I mean, the distribution channels are probably way more open than it ever have been before, and there's a lot more eyeballs on this stuff than there's ever been before either. But again, I mean, the numbers are just insurmountable. There's so many people doing it. There's so many high-level quality games and applications releasing that cost next to nothing. You're competing for pennies. It's absolutely ridiculous. So without completely beating the subject into the ground, I'll just say, if you're interested, do your research. Find out if it's for you. Don't have any expectations of grandeur.